The Fantasy Football Heroes and Villains edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circa Sports. Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contests. $14 million is up for grabs. Get all the details at circasports.com. D-Gens assemble! Welcome back to Fantasy Football Heroes and Villains. I am your host, Justin Bruni. Joining me as always is my co-host and partner, Mr. Andrew, the TD King, Raub. How are we doing, sir? It's hump day.
It is hump day. It's always a good day. Hump day. Yeah, man. Excited to get into it. I think this is a good topic here for people who are drafting, in Best Ball Mania. A lot of different strategies surround the running backs: zero RB, hero RB, robust RB. So I think it's important for us to talk to the people about running backs that we feel could potentially be on those teams that are going to be, fighting for $3 million at the end. So I think it's a good conversation to have, and I think you and I are probably going to differ here a little bit, just knowing how you draft and how I draft. So I'm very intrigued to hear how you go about your business here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a very topical topic right now, right? Running backs, very big in the media, in the news, talking about being underpaid, undervalued. Do you need a running back to win a Super Bowl? I'll tell you one thing. You need a good running back to win your fantasy football championship. Now, regular season, obviously, it's a little bit easier. You catch wind on a good waiver wire ad after an injury. Obviously, it's a very violent position. You can take on a lot of damage, but you got to have one of these guys at least hit RB1 numbers to have a good year in fantasy. And in best ball, you probably need at least two. So we're going to be going over a couple of our different strategies. Jamie's up in the chat already. Hey, what's up, guys? Appreciate you, Jamie, for jumping in. A loyal follower, listener, and watcher. Be sure to toss in any commentary you have, Jamie. We'll be certain to get you up on the board here. Let's start with some of our approaches. I like to kind of park right at about 5 running backs. I have definitely gone the zero RB route many a time, but as I'm getting closer to NFL Week 1, I'm kind of starting to lean into the wind here with some of the fellow drafters in targeting running backs a little bit earlier. Also, just because I've been heavily targeting receivers early on, and we're starting to kind of see a shift in strategy and paradigm in our lobbies here. So how many do you like to go to max, or at least most consistently? And then again, are you doing zero RB? Are you starting to target some hero RBs? What are you thinking?
Up to this point, I predominantly have been doing more or less a zero RB. I have transitioned over to a little bit more hero RB or robust RB because I do want to mix up the style of teams I have. I don't want to just be 100% zero RB. But with that said, zero RB is still first and foremost in my heart. It's what I generally like to look at for my teams. When I'm in a draft, we've talked about this before, how quickly the wide receiver room dries up a little bit for, in the draft, and you can, get values on running backs so much later. So I like to do zero RB, but I do feel there is value in making sure that you're doing all of the strategies a little bit.
No, 1,000%. I mean, looking at the board here of my most recent draft, only 3 running backs went in the first round. It went 2 wide receivers, running back, 2 wide receivers, Travis Kelce, pretty much an elite wide receiver at this point, 2 running backs, and then closed out the first round with 4 wide receivers. In round 2, it balances out a little bit more, starting off with like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, but then Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Tony Pollard all going in the second round. That's about 5. So you're getting more of a split there. And then Patrick Mahomes went at the very end of the second round with the last pick at pick 24. And then again, still, you start to see that, split into the third round, 2 quarterbacks, 1 tight end. just 4 running backs there. So getting it a little bit more mixed up with, like I said, the tight ends and the quarterback position. But again, through the first 3 rounds, you're still seeing a predominant amount of wide receivers go. So if you're going to, take your stand, stand your ground with some running backs, you have to make it worth it. Let's start off with some of our big, we'll call them heroes, if you will, per the show title. Some running backs that we feel are absolute milli makers this season. Running backs that are going to be on $1 million rosters this year. Best Ball Mania giving away $3 million to the top prize winner. Joe Mixon just took a $3 million pay cut. These guys are, they're having to take some pay cuts just to stay on their team because the market just doesn't demand them, right? So for all we know, we're going to make up that same ground ourselves if we can bring home, the correct results. Who's your first man up?
First man up, Alvin Kamara, going currently round 9. I just got him the other 2 days ago when I took him in a draft at pick 101. I think that's a really good value for a man that we still don't know what kind of suspension he's going to have, right? It could be anywhere from 0 to 6 is the range of outcomes. I don't think it's any more than 6 personally. I think the evidence is damning, but him pleading out essentially was, I think, a good move by him. Makes it less of a fight and a battle. So I feel like he's a very good value. And again, like, this is a running back that so let me ask you, because I was asked this question earlier by friend of the program, Patriot Sports Radio, Eric, on there. He messaged me on Twitter and just asked, about some guys, where I have him ranked and stuff. And he asked me about Alvin Kamara and kind of what I would do with him if he wasn't going to be suspended at all. So let me ask you, in what round do you feel he would be going if we knew 100% he was not going to be suspended?
2.
Okay. I think that's a little rich for where I said that I felt like
0 games, zero suspension.
0.
He's gonna go in the top 2 rounds. They have an upgraded quarterback. They're gonna pass the ball a lot more. I just dropped a YouTube short about Derek Carr's passing total. The numbers in the market will shift drastically if he is available for 100% of the games. I cannot see him being drafted behind. I feel like he's going in Tony Pollard range. I wanted to say I don't see that he would go after Tony Pollard, but I could see the market doing that. I just feel like he's going to get a ton of usage if that's the case. So I would say the end of round 2 between picks 20 and 24.
That's a nice comment by Mike there.
Don't spank your kids, guys. The news is watching.
Yeah. So okay. So you're saying 2. I think he would fit more or less in the range of 3. So let's play the game really quick here. These are all the guys going in round 2 generally.
Yep.
Nick Chubb.
Or
Kamara. Okay, Chubb. Pollard or Kamara?
Kamara.
Okay. Jonathan Taylor? Barkley? Henry? Okay, so this guy in this draft took Pollard at 17. I generally see Pollard fall further than that a little bit. Yeah, I know, I was a little rich. So
my recent draft this morning, he went 23.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's what I'm saying is, so Pollard went you're saying 23. That's right at the end of the second round. So so you're saying end of the second, early third. I think he's probably fits better in the mid third with the Josh Jacobs, the Stevenson, the Breece Hall, the Jahmyr Gibbs, those guys.
That's where you might want to take him, but you're always going to get an aggressive lobby that's going to move him up. He's someone that I would be willing to take ahead of an ADP. So if he got an ADP of 25 to 30, I would still take him ahead of ADP at that point, because I just feel like you're going to get some very aggressive lobbies. I definitely like the potential to stack him and Chris Olave. Chris Olave going at about pick 19. So if you can get those guys anywhere from like the 20 to 29 turn, I think that would be pretty solid. If you're picking like 1 through say 5, I think that's, easily obtainable. And then of course, Derek Carr, he's going to be a little bit more of a friendly stack with that, parked at like what, QB 12 or 13. I'm not 100% on that ranking.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's a little further back than that, actually. He's probably closer to 14 or 15.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But no, I'm right there with you, man. Alvin Kamara right now is
just a good bet. Round 9, not going to kill you.
Most exposed running back. 20%, $500 in total entry fees for Alvin Kamara and myself. I've been getting a lot of him at his value. In my last draft, he went at pick 93 in round 8. You and I have been soaking him up in between round 9 and 10. He's been going after ADP 100 very consistently. That's just
I
been a
actually
known
did
fact.
not have as much of them as I thought I did. So I'm going to change that before we do get a suspension news break. You know, I want to still be able to get him here before something happens. So, yep. Before we go to your second or your first one here, I do want to tell I do want to tell the good people about our friends over at Circa Sports. Myself and my buddy will be going out to Circa in September for week 1, and of course we will be signing up for the Circa Millions. Besides the Circa Millions, they are also offering the Circa Survivor, 14 million in guaranteed prizes up for grabs. Circa Millions, if you don't know what that is, it's 5 NFL picks against the spread each week. You know, it's on a point system. Circa Survivor, if you don't know what that is, obviously, generally, it is just you pick a different moneyline winner every week and can only use that team once throughout the year. So if you use Kansas City week 1, you cannot use them again the rest of the season. You can enter in Vegas and play from anywhere by using a proxy. Please let us know if you need any proxy suggestions. We do have a couple different ones that I know people in SGPN use. Sports Gambling Podcast will also be out there last weekend in August. For details, please go to circasports.com. Again, that is circasports.com. You got any leans week 1? Me personally, I will be pushing my buddy hard to take the old Manders week 1 against the Cardinals. So that is probably one of my best bets. I think right now it's at 6. I think it opened at 4.5. I hammered it at 4.5. It's at 6 now, I believe.
Do you have to take a money line pick or can you pick a spread?
No. It has to be a spread. For the Circa Millions, it has to be a spread. So
do you know what the spread is for the Colts to cover against the Jaguars week 1? I think it's pretty slim. Like it should be much bigger than it is. I feel like it's 3 points, and I feel like it should be like 7. Or maybe I have that the other way around.
Maybe I have that the other way around. Real quick, I can pull that up. I know it was probably. I think it was closer at when it opened, and it has since rolled back. Let's see here. So I'm opening it up. Jags and Colts. Jags minus 3.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts there. That's way too out of a number for me. I feel like that should be at 7. I've written about this in prior months, so it looks like the market hasn't really shifted much. So yeah, I'll take the Colts there.
You want the Colts plus 3.5?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Why are they plus 3.5? Should they not be like 7 to 10 point underdogs?
They are underdogs, but that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't want to take the Colts then. You'd want to take the Jags because you're taking the Colts plus 3.5.
No. I'm on the Colts. I know what you're saying. I understand that. I work for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Yes, crazy stuff happens, aren't they? Are they not playing at home?
They are.
Yeah. What the hell? Why? There's something going on there. Vegas knows something we don't. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. According to Warren Sharp, it does. He released his rankings, and the old Manders dead last for the quarterback room. Ouch.
Ouch is indeed.
That is not good.
The disrespect. To Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy. It's just rude. All right, let's get back on track here. Before we get back to my next pick, Jamie's kind of already, peeked the curtain already for Derrick Henry. SGPN is also going to be at the Fantasy Football Expo. We're hosting the Friday night party. We are giving away 4 tickets to the expo. Go follow us on YouTube to enter in a 4-ticket giveaway. We're going to be giving those out across the next couple of weeks here. Subscribe and send us your screenshot of subscribing at SGPN Fantasy on Twitter. Going back up to Henry here. Derrick Henry is my second highest exposed running back at $550, 22.9%. This is a guy through 16 games last season, still had over 1,500 rushing yards. Jamie is absolutely 100% correct on this one. Going at the end of the second round, beginning of the third, if you hit the right lobby, and he has that top 5 potential. My co-host for the Sunday show, Emerson Beery, Jamie also very familiar with him. He's got him ranked at number 2. So there's definitely some polarizing takes for him in the fantasy community. He is someone that I would just lock, stock, and bet on to get at least 300 touches this season. Him, Bijan, CMC. The big difference between the 3 is that Derrick Henry is going closer to the end of the second round. If you get an aggressive lobby that wants to pull up Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen, any of those elite QBs, you could definitely find yourself landing him at the beginning of the third round. So if you go receiver, there's still a chance that you can land Derrick Henry in the third, which is a massive value. They just added DeAndre Hopkins. That's going to open up things more. It's going to be very difficult to load the box up against DeAndre Hopkins, I say what you want about him, but Treylon Burks and Chig, that's some very viable weapons in the passing offense still. I know that everyone's, kind of
just have a shitty quarterback.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? I mean, Ryan Tannehill doesn't have to be that good, though, to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, all right? Baker Mayfield made a ton of money doing that with Nick Chubb. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. He was always, gloating on the sideline. Did you see that handoff? It's going to be the same situation.
Warren Sharp have the Bucks ahead of the Commanders, by the way, in the quarterback room. Sorry,
Warren Sharp out of here. Get that
God, Warren Sharp. Killing me, man.
Toss him to the side.
Sorry. I digress.
It's all good. No, Ryan Tannehill, definitely someone that's getting a little bit more value and ground now in drafts as well. He went in round. You know what round he's been going in, right? Say it out loud.
I'm sorry, what?
What round Ryan Tannehill has been going in?
Round 19.
That's undrafted. It's it's around 18. Today I saw him going around 15. I was absolutely astonished, but the guy did bring him back for a stack. That's fine, whatever. But you're going to see him gain some ground, right? Like there's going to be a little bit more positivity in his line as well. And this is a team that wants to win now. They're a team that plays very good defense, wants to put the ball on the ground, and Henry is still the identity of their team.
Are you cool with Henry being, or are you cool with anybody being the quarterback there? Does it matter to you?
It's going to be Ryan Tannehill. Like, listen,
but does it matter to you though?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But the only way that you are worried about Ryan Tannehill not being on the field is if this team is completely out of contention. So at worst, I could see Will Levis starting maybe 4 games. I think in this division, with the Colts, Texans, and Jags, I still think that they're going to be competitive. Obviously, the conference is very tough. But as long as they're above water in their division, they're going to stay with Tannehill. I don't care what the results are in the game. They're not going to lean over to him at any point. You did not go out and sign DeAndre Hopkins so that you could get Will Levis on the field. And I can guarantee that DeAndre Hopkins had something to say when they were signing. Like, by the way, who's your quarterback going to be? They told him Ryan Tannehill. They told him the experienced QB. Hopkins wanted to go somewhere where there's a good defense, playoff potential, and a chance to win. If he's picking the Titans, then he has to know a little bit more than we do about the quarterback position. I'm not betting on Will Levis getting on the field unless they're in a dire situation. Maybe Hopkins is hurt. Maybe they're out of playoff contention. But even then, I think you're only still looking at about the last 3 to 4 games.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I do think it's funny because he did say he wanted to go to a team that's going to make the playoffs. And in my eyes, that's probably not the Titans, considering they play in the AFC. And I can definitely name at least 6 other teams that are way better than them.
NFC would probably have been better, but let's not pick. Let's not pick on him. Okay, he could beat us up. Let's be real. But yeah, true. I mean, like I said, I think that the situation does look a lot better on paper. I know we all like to say this is where wide receivers go to die, but the presence of Hopkins just sincerely puts Henry in a better position. Like I said, it's going to be very difficult to load the box up against this group.
True. Before we move on to my next one, I would like to tell people about Underdog Fantasy. We are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania 4 is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is also a great way to get down to your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. So many ways to win over at Underdog, and Underdog is available in so many states. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use our promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Okay, and we're back. All right, party on. Let's ride.
Yeah, party on,
Andrew.
Jamie in the chat. This question. Let's take that question quick.
So I actually got Montgomery today, 12 spots after ADP. And I'm not necessarily buying that Montgomery is like the Millie Maker ticket. Like he's going to punch your way to $3 million. But I am betting that one of these running backs is in this Detroit offense, whether it be Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is on my bonus list for tonight. So we'll just kind of get to this breakdown between the two. All the things that we're hearing about Gibbs are absolutely amazing, that he's going to be used in a pass-catching role. You look at the lack of depth at receiver behind Amon-Ra, even Jamison Williams. Williams obviously missing the first 6 games. I feel like there's a massive upside for Gibbs this season. So I'm buying both of these guys at ADP. And my bet is you're going to find a similar lobby like I found this morning where they're just not buying in on one of them, right? Like 12 spots after ADP for Montgomery is an absolute smash for me. Couldn't say no. And that was when I already went RB heavy. Like I drafted Eckler and Jonathan Taylor, leaned into the run game a little bit more. And I was just like, I can't do it. Like I have to grab them here. I just got to play the numbers game and value hound.
Yeah, no, I think Montgomery is a good value. Again, like he slots in as the Jamal Williams role, right? We just saw what Jamal Williams did by leading the league in rushing touchdowns. If he's any semblance of that, I think it's a good value pick currently. I mean, as Jamie's pointing out, he was RB26, or David Montgomery is RB26. Jamal Williams finished at RB13. Now, do I think Montgomery's going to score as many touchdowns as Jamal Williams? Probably not. They were really unlucky last year with going down at the, anywhere between the 1 and 3 yard line. Again, as a Amon-Ra St. Brown dynasty owner, saw him fall at the 1 like way too many times and broke my heart. So I know that Jamal Williams was the beneficiary of that. So I don't think Montgomery's range of outcomes is that. Do I still think it's a value? It's a pretty decent value. I say he's probably closer to RB20 than 13. So it's still
That's
a value, fair. But the problem is with me for Montgomery is that unless Gibbs gets hurt, Montgomery's full-blown potential will never be unlocked because Gibbs has that role on lockdown unless he just is not as good as people think he's going to be, which obviously all the signs are pointing that he is going to be. It's he doesn't really have like a high ceiling. He's more of like a high floor kind of guy, but for underdog, it's good. Like you want touchdown. So I do think it's a value. I just temper expectations. Don't think he's going to be RB13.
I have them very close in my exposure rate. So I have David Montgomery at 8.3% at $200 and Gibbs at 150 at 6.3. Both of those are climbing. Like both of those are going up in my recent drafts. We're just getting a lot of good details about them, and it doesn't look like the Lions are going to add a receiver. I would kind of put them in the mix for maybe like a Hunter Renfrow, just because I feel like Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds are just still so underwhelming. I could see them making maybe like a little backdoor move, maybe dropping like a 6th-round pick for another receiver that might be on a cut list somewhere or might just be readily available. But again, that's a tough bet to make. We're just 50 days away from the NFL season. Those type of moves and opportunities are kind of dwindling by the day here. But until something like that happens, you got to keep scooping up both of those guys at ADP. And if you see them fall at all, they're just absolute smashes given the situation. We haven't even mentioned just how good the Detroit Lions offensive line is. It's been the best that it's been in maybe a decade. So it's a fantastic group to go out and buy right now. And also Jared Goff, very easily, stackable.
Yes.
All right, so Andrew went with Alvin Kamara. I went with Derrick Henry. Both amazing values right now. Who's your next guy?
Samaje Perine. Round 10. Yes, round 10.
Nice. Nice.
So shout out Sebastian Fearon, our SGPN football doc. He just had an article come out with a bunch of injury news and analysis essentially from him. So looking at that, I did see, obviously, again, Javonte Williams is always an interesting case for me because Javonte Williams, as again, dynasty owner of him, love Javonte Williams, think that he has a lot of opportunity in Denver. I think the potential is there as well. Sean Payton's been notorious to use 2 backs. So I think he has potential there and has value. Problem is, obviously, he had a very gruesome injury last year. So reading Sebastian's article, it really showed me again that I don't think he's going to be very effective this year. Coming off the injury that he has, I mean, as an ACL, PCL, MCL, like it was all destroyed, right? I think that even if he comes back, which I do think he does sometime in the year, it's going to be like J.K. Dobbins last year, where he was kind of okay, but like not really. Like you don't really want him. I'd rather just take
more bust than boom.
100%. I would just rather take Perine in round 10 right now and just feel like, again, you're going to get a starter for, in my eyes, at least 8 games. Like I think Javonte is just not going to be right. Why get hurt for? They're going to put their second-year guy in a spot to just get hurt again. And I mean, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Same thing with like Kyler. Like, I don't think Kyler's going to play that much either. But I just don't think that they're going to put Javonte Williams out there if he's not 100%. And if they do, it's kind of dumb because like if you get him hurt again, it's going to take so much longer, and his lifespan in the NFL is going to be so much shorter. So I just don't think that they're going to push him to come back. So again, Pirine, very good value right now. I expect him to climb as we would assumingly probably get more news on Javonte Williams by mid training camp. I don't think the arrow is going to be pointing up for him. So I think the arrow is pointing up for Samaje Pirine.
Yeah, he's been an absolute smash for me. I have 150 of him as well, so another 6.3%. He was an absolute smash, though, in the big board. I'm trying to pull that up now, my big board exposure, because that was just ridiculous.
I think
value.
You and I were both taking him like almost every draft, one of us. It was a lot.
Yeah, let me. I know he's he's up there. So, maybe not as high as I thought.
Pre-draft. Let's see, big boards.
I guess that was Michael Carter, who I'm also dancing in the rain for today.
Pirine, I drafted 20%.
Okay,
which again, that was 29 drafts. So I took him 20% of the time.
So I got him half. I guess I had him confused with my my Michael Carter shares, who's like my second highest.
Yeah, thanks for that. I have 23% of him because of you.
You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. You can pay me. You can pay me at the end of the year. No worries.
You better hope Breece Hall misses time.
He was added to the pup today. That was my reference to it.
Yeah, I saw it.
No, Pirine's an absolute great value in the 10th round. He actually went at the very end of round 9 in my draft this morning, pick 107. Still a great pick after, pick 100. He was butt-ended by running backs in Antonio Gibson, who went at pick 99, and A.J. Dillon at 109. So a nice little spread there, going in between the two. There was a really good run on receivers through round 9, but I can definitely see him falling in the right lobby, especially if you get somebody that's propping up, Javonte. I'm trying to see how much farther Javonte was going ahead of him, just out of curiosity. Looks like round 7, pick 83. So what was that, about 24 picks? I still think that's a bit of an overvalue for Javonte. I feel like he should be going probably somewhere in round 8. Guys that went after Javonte, just for reference, James Conner over Williams for sure. Swift, same. Montgomery, same. Kamara, Pacheco. Dalvin Cook doesn't even have a team, still taking him over Williams. James Cook, Antonio Gibson. I mean, that puts him right at Samaje Pirine. I would take all of those running backs ahead of Javonte Williams right now.
Yes, agreed.
Just a very hard situation to trust. You're targeting the right guy there. I'm going to move on to my next guy, kind of a similar ADP, Devin Money Singletary. I only say that because he is my most exposed player in best ball drafts, in best ball mania. Pulling it up here because I was going back and forth between the other boards. I believe it's 600 and I don't know. I don't have it back up. $600+ for Devin Singletary. Great situation with the Bills. He was getting anywhere from like 11 to 15 touches a game on average. I see an increased role. So I could see that go up to maybe like 14, 15 plus each game, just because I still think this team is going to be bad and they don't need to overload Dameon Pierce with low value touches when they're losing games, when they're behind by a lot, and maybe they need, like you've referenced, a little bit more explosion. Devin Singletary ranked highest in explosive rate last season. I think it's a very good value for where you're getting him. Round 12, he went at pick 137, but ended by Keandre Miller and Jaylen Warren. He's going to have massive roles in comparison to those two guys. After Miller went Tank Bigsby, I could make an argument for Bigsby, but he went, let's see, couple of picks after Dame Harris, Khalil Herbert. That's kind of a better range. Like I would feel comfortable taking him up to maybe round 10. You don't need to. You don't have to. You shouldn't. But if your lobby gets really bad, if it starts getting crazy, he's someone that I'm comfortable taking ahead of ADP.
You haven't even mentioned the coaching staff, have you?
Shanahan offense, right?
Another
offense.
Yeah, another offense that likes to use multiple running backs and use them hard and well. I mean, they're just. I mean, look at what's happening in San Francisco. How many running backs have they pulled in and out of that system, right? It's a good system for it too. Is it going to be 100% the same? No. But, I mean, really, who else is there besides Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary, right? Those are the two guys. They're going to carry 90% of the work between those two.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't expect a third back to get in there, but if for somehow CJ Stroud just steps onto the scene, like if he's under the lights and he's just feeling himself, and they become somehow a pass heavy team, I still think that leans more into Devin Singletary than it does Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And historically, rookie quarterbacks don't generally throw a lot of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are going to be decent, it's probably going to be on the ground. And yeah, I just think Singletary, I agree with you 100%. I think he's going to be involved more than people probably think he is.
Right. And this is also just another option that once you get into the second half of this draft, once you're, past round 9 and 10 into the double digits, the stacks are just all there. Nico Collins, Robert Woods in the very last round, John Mechie, if you're riding that bus. If you really want to throw some crazy darts with Xavier Hutchinson, or just take maybe a safer floor with Dalton Schultz and just draft CJ Stroud at an immense value, he's going at a lot better spot than he was, closer to the draft. Like him and Bryce Young have both fallen quite a bit. You're getting those guys in like round 16 or 17 now. They were going probably a round or two higher, post NFL draft. People were buying the hype. Things have cooled down a little bit. Even in today's draft, I had 7 teams take at least 3 quarterbacks or more. One team even took 4. Insane. So I was like strapped. I was trying to pair CJ Stroud with with Dalton Schultz. I couldn't do it. It just wasn't going to happen for me. So people are getting a little bit more aggressive on them, but they're still at an immense value. All right. So far we've got Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. We touched a little bit on the Lions running backs, and now Devin Singletary. Who's your next guy?
Next guy, big exposure guy for me here, Roschon Johnson of your Chicago Bears. Oh man, I set you up for a dub Bears. God, sorry, Justin. I know you missed it. It's not a big deal. Roschon Johnson. Again, I'm just a firm believer that he probably has the most talent overall at the running back position for the Bears. Mm-hmm. Herbert's been a nice story. I think it's his time to get out of there. And why am I forgetting? D'Onta Foreman, good story. Dude had a bad injury, came back, was awesome last year in Carolina. Again, I think that was more a product of his environment. I think talent wins out in this scenario, and Roschon Johnson, very, very good talent. I think it was a very good landing spot for him too. I mean, he reminds me the situation, if he's the guy, reminds me of RG3 and Alfred Morris back in the day. RG3, a guy running the ball a lot, de facto Justin Fields. What I saw watching those games as a Redskins fan at the time, I saw the lanes open up because of what the defense knew RG3 could do. It's exactly how I feel about the Fields and Roschon Johnson connection here. I just think that Roschon Johnson is going to feast on defenses that are going to be looking for Fields to run. I also think Roschon Johnson has very good hands, and I think there's going to be some dump off passes coming his way. So this is just I'm betting on the talent. I just think talent wins out here, and I am a firm believer that Roschon Johnson is the best running back here. Currently going round 12. Thank me later.
No, I absolutely love it. So I'll give you my breakdown of these guys, and I have it pretty much as ADP dictates. So I have $300 in Herbert, $225 in Foreman, and $125 in Rowe. So I've gotten a fair amount, but I'm not overweight on him, what I'll say. I want to take some shots, but I just still believe if we're looking at spike week potential, I still think that Herbert, if healthy, has the most potential for the most spike weeks in this offense. What I like about Rowe is kind of like that second half build for him. Like the second half of the season, I think could be very profitable, but I still believe that that's a little bit short of a window. That's my only pushback on this is I like the potential. I like getting him past ADP if people are letting him slide, but I still believe that Foreman's going to be used. They still went out and signed him, gave him a little bit of money, and Herbert is kind of still their project, I feel like. And when given the opportunity, when he takes on volume, Herbert's numbers are really good. But that's the problem that I also have with him is that I'm just like, man, is he actually going to get 18 plus touches a game? I don't know. But when he has, he's been very good. You go back and look at games where he has 18 touches or more, the numbers are there. There's positive fantasy output, and those are typically his type of spike weeks. When he's only getting like 8, 10, 12 touches, it's kind of a middle type of return that you're getting, right? So I still think that with those 3 running backs and then the alpha running back there, JF1, Justin Fields, I still think you're going to get some middled ground when I'm looking at the type of exposure I can get to the most spike weeks, I'm looking at Herbert. So I'm getting a little bit of everybody, but as you can see with my exposure, it's just kind of as it is with ADP. So if I can get Foreman or Rowe at value, I'll do it. But when I'm looking at, like we're talking about all the time, right? Going 0 RB, and we want to like kind of back that up with some like decent guys at the back end of our draft, I feel like Herbert kind of fits that, being like my 3rd or 4th running back drafted.
I understand. Do you think Roschon has a path to be the guy at the end of the year?
Yes, I do, because and that was why I was doing all this, is because he can block. He is by far the best blocking running back coming out of this class, and I believe that's why he was brought in, because this is a project still on the offensive line. They've made a lot of improvements, but the devil's in the details, right? Like, we got to actually see what they put on the field as a product. It's a much better group than they had last year, but is it going to work? And if not, I could see a lot more of Roschon Johnson, because if the blocking isn't there, like I was telling Emerson the other day, Buddy couldn't get to 2 Mississippi before being on his back. Like, it was just a nightmare for Fields, especially when he first got on the field. So I think the situation is good for Roschon. It is a situation where, again, you could see him take over at the end of the season, maybe the last 6 games or so, but I still think you need someone to fall. I think you need an injury there between Foreman or Herbert, and Herbert has been a bit injury prone. That's really more my concern about Herbert, is that he is not being able to stay on the field. If he does, I think he is a problem for Roschon Johnson.
Understand. Yeah, I think that he could be a milli maker winner for you if he's the guy at the end of the. I mean, you're getting him all but at no charge. Around round 12, that's fine. Especially if you go 0 RB. I feel like at the end of the year, I believe that he's going to take over much earlier than that. But even so, he could be a league winner for you.
So I got Khalil Herbert going in round 11. That's where Rowe went in 14 in this last one that I did.
Oh, he went in 12. The one I just did last night.
Okay, so the one that I did was this morning. But again, this lobby was weird.
That's a big difference. 12 to 14. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, no, that's about.
I'd love to be still getting him in round 14. Believe me, I'd be all over that.
Between Herbert and him, it was about 43 picks. That's Roschon, a pretty big spread.
Currently, my second most exposed running back at 24%.
Damn. That's quite a bit.
Sure
tied with my second most exposed running back, tied with Derrick Henry, is my next guy up. And this is a dart throw. This is way down there. This is around 16, buddy.
Oh, can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead. I kind of just like uttered the syllable there.
Oh, I didn't even hear you. Chuba Hubbard.
It is not. Damn. More of a big board pick. Pick.
Oh, big board pick.
No. Like Chuba Hubbard was more of like one of my big board targets.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's Mr. Hefe Wilson of the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
a lot of people are hyping up.
I'm going to have to push back on this one.
That's okay. I mean, like, it's a round 16 pick. Buddy is free. Buddy is free. And if we're talking about 0 RB approach, he fits the mold impeccably. When he went over to the Dolphins, he absolutely boomed. In 2021 with the San Francisco 49ers, he had just 48 points on underdog. Finished last year with 147, 5 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown, just 22 total receptions, but he had 860 rushing yards on 176 attempts. It's pretty solid. That's 5.1 yards per carry. This is an offense that utilizes a lot of speed and a lot of action out of the backfield and a lot of deceptive play calling. I feel like Jeff Wilson, given his veteran presence, his athleticism and speed still, he fits the mold to play the most snaps at the running back position. That's not to say that Devin Achane isn't going to be a thorn in his side this season, but spike week potential, I don't know, man. I think that he has the most opportunity for those out of these 3 running backs. So I can take some pushback. That's fine. You have a lot of weapons there. You have Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle. Tua, I don't think he's going to rush the ball very much. He's got to stay alive. He's got to stay on the field. How do you do that? Deceptive play calling, dinks and dunks to your running backs. And I don't see any one guy being the lead dog there. Are you like more off of him because you're more on one of these other guys, or just because no, this team's just going to pass a lot?
I think Mostert's the best pick out of them. I just think that Mostert was the best running back last year for them. There's a reason people call him Raheem must start.
When he's healthy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 100% caveated is, his health. The pushback that I have is I still think that Miami's in play to get another running back, whether that be Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, somebody. I don't think that they have the roster of guys that they fully want, hence why they have been going for Dalvin Cook. So my thought process is, why not just wait, see what happens? If they sign somebody, almost every single one of these guys' ADP is probably going to drop a little bit. I'm trying to get the best value always. So I'm trying to not pick guys I think are going to fall yet where I can get them there. So that's my pushback on it. Is
that's fair.
I don't think Jeff Wilson's a bad pick, especially in round 16. Like you're saying, it's a dart throw. Who cares, right? But he could fall to round 17, 18. I just want to get the best value I can on everybody if possible. If I know that that's a chance, then I'm going to just wait.
All right. So we're going to play the game here a little bit. Jeff Wilson or Chase Brown?
Man, that's like tied for me because Chase Brown only has one guy to deal with, and that's Mixon.
Okay, they literally went back to back in picks, and then this last draft
that's
they did round 16.
Extremely close for me.
Jeff Wilson or Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards.
Jeff Wilson or Chuba Hubbard?
Hubbard.
Damn. What the fuck? There was a person that drafted Latavius Murray.
That's a bold one. I will take Jeff Wilson.
I wasn't even asking. I wasn't even asking that. I just noticed it in round 17. Plays for the old Buffalo Bills. I didn't even know that Lat Murray had a pulse right now. Okay.
Yes, he does.
I mean, yeah, he's alive. Jeff Wilson or Ty Chandler?
Probably Jeff Wilson, because I'm not sure Ty Chandler's actually the backup yet. It could be Dwayne McBride.
Jeff Wilson or Leonard Fournette?
If I'm taking a shot, Fournette. Just because I think he could be the Zeke role for somebody. Lots of touchdowns.
Okay. What about Jeff Wilson or Zeke?
Zeke. Because I do think he's going back to Dallas.
I keep seeing like in different reports, I see like, oh, he's going back, like potential, the door is open. And then I see like, oh, Cowboys, unlikely to sign. I'm like, the news, make up your mind. My God.
Yeah, that's today's day and age for you, the news. But I mean, on the Zeke thing, really quick. Oh man, that dude.
Ford.
Yeah, it has to be Ford because that's my most exposed running back at 29% to Jerome Ford. Yeah. I do love Hubbard though. But it's Ford for me. But on the Zeke thing, I think what's on the table right now for them is like almost a veteran minimum deal from the Cowboys, and they're letting him out there in the wild, saying, "Listen, do what you got to do, figure it out. You know what's sitting here for you," and he's just going to come crawling back because I don't think people are going to give him what he wants.
Yeah, so Raheem Mostert only going one round ahead of Jeff Wilson, so pick your poison. Like, I just don't think that there's a wrong answer. So Mostert had 890 rushing yards last season. Jeff Wilson had 860. Mostert had like a couple of more catches, like a handful more catches, but Wilson had more rushing touchdowns. So there's a role for both of these guys, and I think that you're getting them at value.
But now insert A-Chain.
Sure. Insert A-Chain, right? But again, I still think that given the presence of Jeff Wilson, they did go out and get him. Now keep in mind, they re-signed him this offseason because his contract expired, but they still went out and traded for him last year. I think that connection with McDaniels is real. He came from the Niners. He's a McDaniels guy. He knows what he's getting out of them. And when things get really difficult, I feel like that's the high trust guy. Does that play in for you at all?
I get that. I think because they both come from that system. They both came from Mike McDaniel. So
correct. Mostert did too, just a year prior.
Right. So I don't think one of them has more trust. I think they both are trusted. I think the factor here for me is, again, is Dalvin Cook going there, somebody else signing there? And two, what does A-Chain do? Because he's been very good in OTAs. Is he going to fuck everything up?
I'll ask you that right now. At round 11, the last pick of round 11, we'll say anywhere from 130 to 135, Devin A-Chain, hero or villain.
What running back do you say he is there?
I don't know what the running back ranking is, but I'm saying ADP? It's pick 130 to 135. That's the end of round 11, beginning of round 12.
A-Chain, you said hero or villain? I still feel like hero there, but as like a small hero, like comic book hero that doesn't get made to a movie. Just comic book guy. He's just I feel like I think it's high floor, low ceiling kind of guy. So in round 11, I'm okay taking that shot. Have I done it a lot? No. I mean, let me just look at my exposure here. I think it's
I think
probably
I have very little
5%.
to no exposure of A-Chain.
Yeah, I have 4.2%. So I've not taken a lot of them.
One single share.
Yeah, I'm okay with it though. I just generally don't like. There's other guys that go around him or other positions that I like to pick better where that goes. But I think it's an okay pick.
There's lots of guys that I like around him. One in particular that I don't want to name because we may get to him here soon. But Devin Singletary, I'll take around later. Jerome Ford, I'll still take later. Any of those two other running backs from Miami, because I still don't believe in my heart of hearts that any one of them dominates the touches. I think that they're going to spread it around. You know, this is a big conversation in the NFL right now. Do you need to have a highly paid running back to win a Super Bowl? This is the type of team that could potentially, make a playoff run. I'm not going to say the Dolphins are going to go to the Super Bowl, but a lot of downfield passing and a lot of utility at the running back position. It's a very good combination for success right now in the NFL.
Okay. Gotcha. Mike Raub on the he's a fucking supervillain in the 11.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Lex Luthor. All right, so supervillain or like hero that makes a really bad movie, like the Green Lantern.
Yeah, right there. I'm okay with that.
There you go. There you go.
Good comparison.
There it is.
Yikes, Ryan Reynolds.
Hero, terrible reviews.
Hey, the opposite of Deadpool. Deadpool, fantastic movies.
Duh. All right, who's your next guy up?
So I was going to touch on Jerome Ford. We kind of already did. I mean, I
good
don't
situation. Good situation. He's the number 2 guy. We've seen Stefanski use multiple backs. We have to assume that he's going to get a chunk of that Kareem Hunt role, but I think you and I also assume that Nick Chubb is also going to eat a little bit more this year as well, because the taste that he left in our mouth down the stretch of last year, I have to believe that there's going to be some correctiveness, at least to start the season again.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And we don't have to be a dead horse here. Yeah, everyone knows how much I love Jerome Ford, but it's just if Nick Chubb goes down, league winner. Like, what if fantastic.
PETA is watching? What, you don't want to overfeed a hungry horse? My God, always talking about killing things.
Well, whatever. Somebody has to do it. No, I'll take us closer to the top of the draft here. And this is all caveated on Dalvin Cook doesn't go here, because this kind of got fucked a little bit when I saw that now the betting favorite for Dalvin Cook is going to fucking Patriots. That's gonna fuck it all up for Ramondre Stevenson.
But Leonard's in the building.
Yeah, I know. And now I see this too. I'm like, so something's happening. I would much rather have Lenny go there than Dalvin Cook, though. I'll tell you that. Dalvin Cook, I think, plays more into the passing game than Lenny would there. I love Ramondre. The talent is absolutely fantastic. They fed him a shit ton last year. Do I think that that's going to happen this year as much? No, but he's a very good running back on a team that doesn't have all aspiring pass catchers. Ramondre is probably one of their top pass catchers. I just think the situation fits him very well. He's going in round 3. I love the running back. His talent is just through the roof. So this is, again, all caveated on no one really going there of note. Lenny is fine. Dalvin would not benefit Ramondre, I don't think. I just hope they don't sign anybody of note, really, like anybody. Hell, if I had to pick one of the guys to go there that I think would least impact him, probably be Zeke.
Oh, no. Zeke is the inside the 5 guy. That's the opposite.
Yeah, but I also think Zeke sucks. So I think that Ramondre surpasses him in talent nowadays. Kareem Hunt, I'm not sure is dead yet in that part of his life.
I think Kareem Hunt could just simply Kareem Hunt could simply just supplement Ramondre in the passing game, so that when they do get inside the 20, Ramondre is a little more fresh.
So, okay, so you think it's bad for Ramondre if Zeke goes there because Zeke's going to have the goal line work, right?
Exactly.
So why don't you feel like this about Gibbs and Montgomery?
Well, no, I do. I feel that Gibbs is the guy, but in between the 20s.
Yeah.
But I have a very similar exposure to them. I only have like 2 more shares of Montgomery than I do Gibbs. You could see Gibbs finish as a top 10 running back and not have more than 5 rushing touchdowns, just based off of pure PPR value.
So could Ramondre.
He could. I don't buy it, because that's not what Bill Belichick does.
That's what they just did last year. No. Now it's Bill O'Brien now.
Sure, but it's still Bill Belichick's team and it's still his offense. And if they are going after any of those guys, like a Cook, like a Leonard Fournette still finished as an RB2 last season based on his PPR value. What I see that as is they don't trust Pierre Strong. Yeah, Mac Jones, Tom Brady. Both are going to throw a lot of passes to the running back.
Please don't say what's the difference.
I did not say that. I said they're both going to throw to the running back.
I mean, he had 69 receptions last year. Yeah, I mean, how much lower?
Because he's a PPR back. Who would you rather throw the ball to 69 times to? Pierre Strong or Leonard Fournette?
Well, Leonard Fournette, of course.
Sure, right, exactly. That's the role that I think that they're going after. If they get a guy like that,
Ramondre's 69 receptions last year,
dude, I'm
he had
preaching
85 targets.
I'm preaching and buying what you're saying. Let's get that straight. What I don't buy is Bill Belichick. I trust the numbers. I would trust Ramondre at his ADP if I believe he's going to get the same type of usage. I feel that usage could come down. You even just said so yourself. He could get used less than he did last year. Yet he's being purchased at a third round ADP. I have about 157 of him. Very similar to what I have of Jahmyr Gibbs, like I said, at 150. Whatever Dalmatian draft I did, I must have drafted Ramondre Stevenson. But I also like some of the guys that are being drafted around him. I'll take him over Breece Hall. I'll take him over Travis Etienne. Gibbs only went, a handful of picks after him. Ramondre at 34, Gibbs at 37. I like Najee Harris there. I like Josh Jacobs earlier in that round. I'm okay taking him at ADP. I prefer after, but the situation right now is not looking good. If they are the odds favorite to land Dalvin Cook, you can't tell me that you're comfortable taking Ramondre Stevenson in round 3.
I'm still okay with it because it's just, those odds change all the time. Look what just happened with DeAndre Hopkins. He was the odds-on favorite to go somewhere else, and next thing you know, Titans. There it is.
Yeah, but then he was also minus 300 to go to the Titans, and he signed there within 48 hours.
That is true. That's true, but Dalvin Cook hasn't signed there yet.
True. I just don't like seeing that stuff, obviously, especially after the season that Ramondre has. Why are you looking to go out and buy a running back? You need receivers on this team. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's what they need right now. I don't think that's the formula to win that division up against the Bills, the Dolphins that are loaded.
Well, maybe they're trying to slow down the game a little bit. Hope their defense hangs in there with those teams and then just run the ball.
Yeah,
the ball out of the backfield.
That might be the formula, Bill, if you want to win games in, December and the end of November. But those other teams are going to be well ahead of you from the previous months. It's not a formula I think is going to work. I don't know what he's doing. The guy just feels like that type of person in your fantasy league that just takes people out of spite because they want to be right. They want to do it their way. They want to have the bully tight end approach.
Yeah, he's again, I think he's spiraling out of control a little bit. The dynasty has fallen. Bill Belichick doesn't know what to do with himself now, and he's just trying to throw shit out the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah, I'm not scared of taking him because of who he is and what he can do. I love Ramondre. Ramondre made me a good amount of money last year in just those weekly best ball drafts, right? What were those called? The $5
Battle Royales.
Yeah, the Battle Royales. He was a fantastic value all season long in those, especially early on when he wasn't necessarily a big flashy name yet. So I'm a big fan. I love the situation. I don't like Bill. I don't like him at all. And Bill O'Brien does what the Empire says. He does what the
He's always had good offenses though. I'll give him that.
Fuck Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's an idiot.
I don't disagree. He left Penn State high and dry, so fuck his.
Didn't he trade DeAndre Hopkins for a picture of the 85 Bears or some shit? Something ridiculous. Oh, we don't need that guy. We can survive without him. Fucking moron. We got time for one more.
Didn't Bill O'Brien just come from Alabama?
No, he was there last year with
right. He was just there last year.
No, not Alabama. Who was the other coordinator he was working with last year? Was it Joe Judge? Him and Joe Judge were splitting duties as OC, I believe, last year. They were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Joe Judge would get this week. Bill O'Brien would get the next.
Yeah. Wait, am I not remembering this right? I could have swore he was just at Alabama.
Maybe he left the Texans for a year.
Yeah. He was offensive coordinator quarterbacks coach as well for 2021 and 2022 for Alabama. Where did Jahmyr Gibbs just come from? Alabama. So just saying, we were just comparing Gibbs and Ramondre. I'll leave it at that. Ramondre is just like Gibbs. Gibbs just like Ramondre, except for Ramondre is bigger and better than Gibbs. So Bill O'Brien worked wonders with Gibbs. Insert Ramondre,
I guess,
baby.
man. I do not trust Bill O'Brien. If that's your last straw, then yeah, you're kind of
look what Bill O'Brien did in Houston.
What?
Look what Bill O'Brien did in Houston. Arian Foster, good back.
Yeah, was he there for all the Arian Foster?
I don't know.
Was he? That was way.
When I said it,
long time ago, buddy.
I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
Long time ago, buddy. I think he was with Houston, the Patriots then.
He was in Houston 2014 to 2020. Was Arian Foster 2014?
Like maybe as an injured guy on his way out of the league.
As I said it, I stopped myself in my head. I'm like, ooh, you know what? Am I assuming something there? Arian Foster was with the Texans from 2019 or 2009 to 2015. Yeah. So he was there for 2 years.
He had one good season with them in 2014. That's it. One good season.
Just saying, I don't think it's out as outlandish to think that Ramondre could be one of those guys.
Okay, all right. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, like Ramondre Stevenson, I hate what Bill is doing right now. It's so dumb, so dumb. We got time for one more guy. I'm gonna go with Najee. Najee Harris, bounce back season. He is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 highest exposed running back, 16.3% at $400. You're getting him at the end of round 3, right after Ramondre Stevenson. And I think that he is going to be in line again for a bell cow role. Knock on wood, he has been healthy through the first 34 games, I'm sorry, of his career. I mean, the big decline that we saw from year 1 to year 2 was the pass catching opportunities. He caught 33 less passes. I think that maybe we could get maybe an upgraded middled number there, maybe like somewhere in like the 50 to 60 department. Year 1, 74 catches, 6.3 yards per reception at 467 total yards. Last year, just 220 yards, 5.6 on 41 catches. Had 3 receiving touchdowns, in both seasons, and 7 rushing touchdowns in both seasons. I could see him leaping forward in both. I could see him being like a 10-4 guy. I could see him getting up, close to like 14 to 16 total touchdowns if Kenny Pickett can get a little bit better. Jamie jumping in saying Najee, great pick this year. They upgraded the offensive line. The offensive line has been a project since Ben Roethlisberger left. Even in Ben Roethlisberger's last year, it was a totally retooled line. So they're still getting better. They're still kind of building chemistry. And like you said, they made some upgrades. It's a very good situation. And I feel that Najee also just has a very safe floor with his pass catching ability. So even at a decline, he still had 2.4 receptions per game. In his rookie season, he had 4.4. Again, I think that maybe we can get close to that number from his rookie year, but maybe we don't hit it necessarily. Maybe we're like 3.5 to 4, right? Maybe it's not quite there because I still trust them to run the ball a lot. I still just don't see Jaylen Warren as being this massive, massive threat. And the team was much, much better down the stretch of last season, backed on the identity of putting the ball on the ground and really leaning into Najee. I still feel like that's going to be the case to start this season. You and I are both immensely in on Deontay Johnson. If we're so inclined that he's going to be just as good as he was last year, if not better, I have to believe that that's going to balance out with some good running game from Najee Harris.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'm just looking at his numbers again here. He averaged 3.9 and 3.8 last 2 seasons, had 7 touchdowns both seasons. The number that really jumps out at me is his reception total. 74 2021 to 41 in 2022. I expect that to be I expect that to be middled for sure. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to be closer to like the 50 to 55 range. I agree with everything you said. I'm in on Najee as well. I was just trying to look at exposure. I have 15% of him. Could be a little higher. I actually thought I had a little bit more than that. But yeah, I mean, you already hit on it. We think the Steelers are going to be much better. The O-line's much better. I mean, really, Jaylen Warren is a good story, and I think he's a good running back. I think people are really overvaluing what he means to this offense as opposed to what Najee means. I mean, Najee was round 1 pick, right? Like, They took him for a reason. They're not just going to set him up on the fucking on the shelf to get dusty, right? They're going to use him until the wheels fall off, because they know that, again, we've seen now over the last couple of days what all the running backs are saying about the running back landscape. They're going to run him into the ground until his rookie deal's done. Probably get rid of him at that point, most likely. So yeah, Najee, very good running back, good situation, upgraded O-line, as you alluded to. And again, I think he has double-digit rushing touchdown upside.
Yeah, Jamie dropping in that he wasn't drafting him at his ADP. Last year, he was very expensive. Like, he was going as like a top 8 guy because his rookie season, he nearly put up 1,700 scrimmage yards. It was like 1,667. Last year, a little bit closer to about 1,300. And again, that was really backed on a strong finish down the last 8 games. I believe he had like 6 total touchdowns his last 8 games of last season. So like the first 8, the front 8, front 9 was not very pretty for Najee. There was all of that talk that Jaylen Warren was going to come in and he was going to be the guy. Najee put that noise to rest. So definitely someone that I'm buying at his value. And again, another really good target if you lean into targeting 2 wide receivers with your first 2 picks. Like, I like going 0 RB, but realistically, if you still take, 3 or 4 receivers out of your first handful of picks, I don't mind throwing in a Najee, a Ramondre, maybe even a Mixon now that you get a clear idea what's going on with him, a Gibbs or a Josh Jacobs. Like, I don't mind mixing those guys in with maybe 3 or 4, wide receivers through that first handful of rounds. I still think that that's a really good strategy. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of value with the later end running backs, guys that, your Mandos, right? Your B-Robs, your Antonio Gibsons. We mentioned the Houston guys a little bit, even Dameon Pierce going in round 6, someone that still had a strong season last year. I still think he has a good role, but like I said, I like Singletary a lot more. One last guy I wanted to hit on that Jamie had brought in. Jamie, we appreciate you riding with us even through your internet outage. He had mentioned Rachaad White. I was trying to pull up the comment here, what we thought about him. He was going in round 7. Another guy that I just really like that I don't feel has a lot of competition for touches. Me and Emerson were talking about this the other day. We really don't believe Sean Tucker is going to come in and steal a bulk of the work or any of those other guys there. So someone that I feel could have a very strong PPR presence this year, going anywhere in round 7 or 8. I think that's a very good value, especially around the wide receivers that are in that spot. Quentin Johnston, Brandon Cooks, Jahan Dotson, Pickens, Addison. It's kind of that big shelf drop from your guys like maybe like Tyler Lockett or Michael Pittman, Mike Evans. It feels like there's a good gap of talent drop there. Do you disagree?
I do. I almost like every single running back around Akers. I'm just not an Akers guy. The Rams.
Rachaad White.
I'm sorry. I could have swore you said Cam Akers. Rachaad White. Hold on. Let me scroll down the board here real quick. I'm looking at my last draft board.
I have him in round 7.
Yeah, he was 8 here. He went 92.
Nice. So he went 77, a whole round earlier in my draft. So again, kind of a polarizing player. People are high on him. People are low on him. I like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it there. I prefer Pacheco just solely based off the offense. Depending on my build, I'll take Kamara over him as well. If I already have like Najee and somebody else sitting there, if he's like my third, I'll take Kamara. I like Rachaad White because there's like not a whole lot of competition there. I just fear about how bad this fucking offense is going to be. I don't know what to do with him. Like James Conner's another guy I'm not really high on. They're kind of similar to me. James Conner, we've seen it more. Rachaad White's a younger running back though. I'd probably just take the shot on White over James Conner. Hopefully Davis isn't in here because Davis is a big Conner guy. So Rachaad White is one of those guys I still don't know exactly what to do with. I want more clarity before I really jump in on him. I was very high on him last year coming in. Love the dude. This is a guy that does not put the ball on the ground either. So I do like that. But yeah, I think it's fine. Like round 8 is a perfect spot for him, I think, with all these guys that go here. There's uncertainty. Another guy that I like that goes around him that I don't know who I'd probably take Cook over him, James Cook.
Sure.
Again,
better
offense.
They're going to score more points. There's more of a power vacuum there for scoring opportunities. But I think the opportunity for Rachaad White is the bad offense. PPR back and a bad offense, struggling QB in Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. I think that's a good match for us in best ball.
Mhm.
I think there's definitely opportunities for spike weeks for sure. I would say probably even so equal to a James Cook, because where James Cook could have spike weeks, so could Dame Harris or Josh Allen, just stealing the ball inside the red zone, or not, James Cook just not getting a lot of touchdowns in general.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Jamie said here Pacheco doesn't catch passes and is TD dependent. That's true
But
to a
big
certain
play
extent.
ability is there for Pacheco.
100%, and also the offensive value opportunities he's going to see, as opposed to like what Rachaad White will probably see, is going to be just exponentially better in this offense. So I just think that there's a higher ceiling for his opportunities, though I do think that Rachaad White will see more touches.
What are your concerns, though, about Pacheco maybe banged up and eased into the season? He's dealing with a nagging injury.
Fine. I think it's fine. I mean, they haven't went out and did anything. They still have CEH there, which...
Don't you even. Stop it. Stop it.
It's okay. CEH, I mean, again,
I'll take Deneric Prince for free over CEH.
It's an interesting... Deneric Prince reminds me of Pacheco last year at this time. So
doesn't he?
Yeah, we'll get to that on some podcast for sure. But I think it's Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon. Those are the two, right? McKinnon's not going to do what Pacheco does. So I think Pacheco's role is fine. He just won a Super Bowl with them. They heavily involved him in the Super Bowl. I don't think they're just all of a sudden just going to be like, hey, man, thanks. It was a fun run, but we're just going to go ahead and toss you to the side now and bring in somebody. It's just not going to happen.
Have you heard about running backs in the NFL this week? That's exactly what they're doing, brother.
Yeah, expensive ones, but guess what? Pacheco, most certainly not expensive as an undrafted free agent. So
True.
Was he
Jerick
undrafted
McKinnon,
or was he around 7?
I think he was
or
around
5.
7.
I mean, yeah, was it? Okay. Too many
It was
players.
probably 6, and we're both wrong. The other guy I was going to say, the last guy on my list here, is Jerick McKinnon, round 11. Spike weeks.
Decent value.
Spike weeks. That's it.
It just, without the string of touchdown luck last year, he wouldn't have finished there. He made shit happen, and so did Patrick Mahomes with that offense.
I agree.
So
but
I think
you
it's
look
a
at the
little
receiving
rich.
core. You look at the receiving core. They're now losing Juju, and there's just a complete toss-up between all of these guys. Everyone's chasing Sky Moore. Everyone's chasing Kadarius Toney. We've said this probably a million times. There's got to be like at least 12 sound bites of this. Everyone's going to be angry when it's Richie James, MVS, and Kelsey, because they have a little bit more experience. They've been reliable for their teams down the stretch.
My mind, all I heard was, "Oh, Richie James, spicy." I don't believe. I'm not on the Richie James train, by the way.
I'm just saying they went out.
I think he'll have some weeks, but it's
well, again, where you're drafting MVS, like I think there's an equitable amount of spike weeks for any of those guys, right? So why be first to market with Rashee Rice? Why be first with MVS?
Rashee Rice is somebody they drafted. So I'll give you a prime example. Last year, Sky Moore, how many times did he muff punts or miss, right? Like, and we're like, oh God, he's dead to the world, right?
I'm not exposed to Sky Moore.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, so last year, Sky Moore had all these mess ups, right? What did they do? They kept putting him back in there. I think that when they draft a guy, they're like, we're going to make him work. Richie James, I think, is a fill-in until Rashee Rice or one of these guys really establish themselves. And then I think Richie James is a journeyman. It's just not going to fully work out, I don't think.
Which one of these receivers doesn't make the roster?
I'm not going to lie. I don't know how many they have. I think MVS stays there. Rashee Rice stays there. Sky Moore stays there. Kadarius Toney stays there. Those 4 guys, 1,000% stay there.
So what you're telling me is they just signed Richie James for no reason, just to cut him.
Well, I only named 4. They could keep 5 wide receivers on an offense that throws the ball a fuck ton. Why not?
No, they absolutely should. Like Jamie was saying, McKinnon was top 20 last year with huge spike weeks in best ball. That's all you're drafting him for. He's not an every week player. But if you're hearing all this news about Pacheco kind of being eased into the season, I have to imagine the potential for spike weeks for McKinnon, at least to start the year, weeks 1 through 6, much higher likelihood. And this is a guy that was getting multiple touchdowns. And it's just a very, very middle group of receivers after Kelsey. I have to imagine that, again, like, we're talking about Pacheco, being amazing last year, helping them win a Super Bowl. So did McKinnon. McKinnon actually took the knee at the 1. Remember, he could have scored a touchdown. He didn't.
Yes, team player. That should show all those kids out there. That's what you want to be, a team player. Win the damn thing. Don't do it for yourself.
Thing. Absolutely. Anything to share? Anyone that you wanted to add in as a bonus before we head out?
No, I do want to share one thing though. At 11:30 Eastern, hop over to the Sports Gambling Podcast YouTube page. I will be going on to draft a best ball team. I think we're going to do a weekly winners this time with the mothership themselves, Sean and Ryan. Don't give me the thing.
The weekly winners.
I mean, I listen. I told them I was fine with doing that or Best Ball Mania. I let them pick. They want to do weekly winners. I'm fine with it. I like weekly winners too. That's cool. So if anybody's wanting to check that out, again, 11:30 Eastern over on the Sports Gambling Podcast YouTube page. Check us out. Let them know that I sent you so they know that we are doing our jobs, as well as, please, if you have not already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let us know if there's any topics that you guys would like us to hear, or like to hear us talk about. We are always open for ideas. We appreciate every single one of you.
And as always, we are here to be your...
Let me be your hero.
Let us be your hero.
Or villain. Don't forget about the villains. Come on, man. Somebody asked. You're the hero. I'm the villain. I like to, be the villain. It's kind of fun.
We got to get you the crown. We got to get you that TD King crown.
Yes, sir. King's a hero though, which my name is not matching that is true. I mean, look at Game of Thrones. The Kings sure didn't seem to be heroes there.
Joffrey was an ass, man. He was king for a minute.
Yeah,
little shithead.
No, please don't make me be Joffrey.
No, wouldn't do that to you. I'd make you like one of the dickhead Baratheons. You're more of a Stannis. We appreciate you, Jamie. You're the man, brother. You're the man. Well, I'll see you on Sunday because I know that you're always in here, buddy. I know that you're always in. I know you're always down to clown, as we like to say. Yeah, man. I would have joined the draft, but for weekly winners, I'm going to bed, bro. I would have stayed up for a little BBM action.
I'll have to let them know.
They don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke.
The other half of the Heroes and Villains podcast can't hang, guys.
Yeah. Well, not with weekly winners, buddy. I got to keep all my opportunity and exposure and my bankroll saved up for BBM. Like, I'm not trying to, cut down on my, what is it, $15 for the weekly winner?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So that's just going to mess up my balance on my account. I'm not trying to do that. Sorry.
I feel you.
I gotta play on pace. I'm at 98 and I need to get 2 more in by the end of today, and it's not going to happen. So come tomorrow, 49 days until I'm going to be 2 behind my pace. I got to catch up.
I'm at 62.
I don't know how you're going to catch up. I guess just draft day 3.
Oh, draft day is 24 in a row. So there's that. But I averaged it out. I need like 1.8 a day on average with draft day in it. So I can do that. I've been doing 2 a day while driving.
I did 2 a day earlier in the off season, but now with my
2 a days.
I know. I was
2
doing
at a time, baby.
Sometimes 3. No. I do not like doing that. I do not like doing 2 at the same time. No, do not do that.
Hey, last thing before we get out of here, because I know it's been an hour and 12 minutes, but we do appreciate everyone coming in here, and we do like to obviously talk about other people that come in and support us. So Jamie is putting on here that he's doing a podcast drafting villains tomorrow with Adam Rank.
Love it.
Going for 2. So I believe
Sexy.
You can just type that in here. I want to just check because I think I follow them. I saw him post something here. Yes, going for 2. Just type that in, all one word, going for, and then the number 2. If you guys would like to check them out, yeah, I'm excited about that. Getting Adam Rank in there, that's a nice hit.
Jamie, are you a Bears fan as well? Is this like a Bears fan meetup?
I mean, it looks like in his picture he has a Browns helmet on the skull.
Yeah, so yeah.
But I mean, that's just a picture, so you never know.
Adam Rank, big Bears fan. I always love a good Bears fan, kind of just like preaching to the choir, like never backing down. Adam Rank always stands up for his Bears, and I can always appreciate that, no matter the cause, no matter what it is. He's always standing up for Justin Fields, our shitty-ass offensive line, and, like Adam Rank, I'm very excited for this season. No, he's a Browns fan. Hey, no worries. I dig it.
See, yeah, Browns fan. Hey, man, Jerome Ford, baby. And Jerome Ford, I trust.
Yes, sir. And any Browns fan is an underdog in my book because, you've just been dealing with just dog shit after dog shit after dog shit.
Oh, wow. I feel bad for them.
Why? Are you being sorry? Like, because what?
No, because Commanders suck too.
Oh, whatever. I mean, yeah, same thing. Like, I like the Commanders, like in theory, because I like a good underdog. I'm a Bears fan. I have to. Like, why am I going to shit on other bad teams? Like, so what does that make me? And he's a Roshan truther, so we're in good company here.
Yes.
We're all underdogs. We all love some Roshan. I don't know if I'm a truther yet. I don't know if I actually get to call myself that with my exposure. I like to back up my takes with my numbers. So
if Roshan, I'll be getting a Roshan jersey this year if he is semblance of any type of good.
We need to get matching DJ jerseys. Like we need Deontay Johnson, I think, over him.
Oh
still.
God, yeah. I'll buy a signed Deontay Johnson helmet or some shit if he's as good as we hope he is.
I think we owe it to him, at this point, like how much we've
have him signed your most exposed wide receiver.
No, JD.
Oh, Jesus. That's
for charity.
Strategy.
So if there's a place and there's a time for it, that's it. Taking him.
Roshan Johnson at the 107 in Scott Fish Bowl 13. That is awesome. That's
man.
bold, man. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that. I love it.
I salute you, sir. That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, if you're doing it for a bit or just doing it for fun, like obviously you're passing up a ton of ADP and opportunity, specifically at quarterback. But yeah, exactly. It was for charity. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. Raised $202 for that pick. That's awesome, dude. Shoot us a DM with the charity. Maybe we can throw a couple of bucks your way as well, man. Appreciate you. We are going to head out, though, as Andrew mentioned, at hour 12. We're now at an hour 15. So take care, be well, be good. And if you can't be good at it.